Welcome to Face to Face. This is a show about change and about what's next. It's a show that wants to ask questions, peel back the layers of our average everyday experience, and go beyond scratching the surface. We interview amazing people with incredible ideas and stories who have done wild, weird, and wonderful things. Remember that imagination shared creates collaboration, and collaboration creates community, and community inspires social change. I'm David Peck, and this is Face to Face. So this next interview for me was a real treat at the Toronto International Film Festival with two Croatian women, Kristina Kumric and Maja. I hope I got your names right. We had a good laugh about that as well. In a very odd setting, we were basically sitting in a phone booth for this interview, so it might sound like it's got a little bit of an echo there. This is a brilliant film. This is playing a world premiere in the short Croatian film called Half a Man, and it's about war, but and revenge. It's about anger, and it's about hate. It's about prisoners of war. But it really, for me, was a very and I know both Kristina and I will probably smile, but for me it was a hopeful film. And this was about overcoming and about fighting back against life in all of its deeply disturbing and traumatic forms. But for me, this was really about family at the end of it all. It's a 20-minute film. I can't believe what these two have done, this team has done in such a short period of time. They shot it in 5 days. It's a beautiful film to watch, and you need to see this. You absolutely need to see this, so put it on your list. And also check out davidpecklive.com for more interviews, rabble.ca. And we've got more coming up from the Toronto International Film Festival in the near future. Kristina Kumric and Maja, Half a Man. Well, welcome to Face to Face. We're joined by two very special guests here today, all the way from Croatia, I think. Got in last night. We are joined by two filmmakers, Kristina Kumric and Maja. Yes? Thank you for joining us today, both of you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I got your last names right.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
Sometimes with European filmmakers, it's my name's pretty easy, right? Peck, my last name. That's not too hard.
Like
right?
Smith.
That's right. It's kind of like Smith. It's true. So we're here to talk about the world premiere of your film at the Toronto International Film Festival, Half a Man. Yes. So we've got our Maja, the screenwriter, Kristina, the director. Tell how much of this, I guess, is autobiographical. How much of this comes out of your own story as the writer and the director?
I work as a journalist and a writer in Croatia, and I was writing my novel We Shall Live Better, which was published several years ago, and the story on which the movie is based is only a chapter in that novel. And in the novel, it deals with the story about a young woman who loses her baby, and it's very traumatic, and then it becomes grotesque, and then it suddenly becomes also humorous and funny and beautiful. But there is one chapter in which she remembers her own childhood, and one day when her father returns from a camp, from a war camp where he was tortured. And that is an autobiographical story. That is a story of my father, who in Croatian war in 1991 was fighting for independence against a guerrilla army who were fighting for the independence. As you know, it is a really complicated and traumatic thing
Always
in the Balkans,
so
especially in the Balkans, and it's still, we still live through the consequences of it. We haven't still resolved that chapter in our past, and there's a lot of historical dialogue that has to be done.
Is there a sense, Maja or Kristina, where the war has touched everyone in some way, I would imagine. If it hasn't touched you as a family directly, it's an uncle, or well, that would be family. It's a friend, or maybe your school teacher, or a priest, or somebody that you know, right? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yes. In Croatia, especially, I don't know anyone who hasn't been affected by the war.
So, I guess the film then is really, I mean, it's a short film. It's 20 minutes,
Yeah, 20
all in.
minutes.
So my first question is, how come it wasn't longer? Because I congratulations too, by the way. Love the film. I really did. Cinematography is beautiful.
Thank
The
you.
storytelling is great. The performances. Mia, is it? Mia, the young 10-year-old actress, is just
She was 9. then.
nine. It's
Yeah.
crazy good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
She's
such a
amazing.
performance, and I don't think I'd want to get into a fight with her either. Actually, she's got a little bit of passion, a little bit of energy there. It's awesome how it comes out in so many ways, and quite heartbreaking as well. So yeah, wonderful film. So I want to get into some of that, but how come it wasn't longer? Was it just budget? Was it just not enough money to make a longer feature film?
I don't know. Well, from the beginning we knew that we are making a short film, so I tried to make it vivid, to make those characters deep in some way. So I thought in that way that maybe I should think of those characters like they are in a longer movie, maybe, because in short films you always have some catch or something on the end. And this film I tried to show really the characters. So maybe that's why you think it should be longer.
It must be such a huge challenge too, with such a short period of time, to communicate as much as you did. It makes you almost wonder if you shot hundreds of hours of footage in order to get 20 minutes, right?
No.
There's all kinds of backstory and front story and so on, but not really.
No, there are shots that are taken only once. So we didn't have time. It was filmed for 5 days.
Wow, so you shot that over 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow. And how about rehearsals? I mean, none of this is
No,
really relevant
we
to the
didn't
listeners
have
'cause they
any
haven't seen the
rehearsal.
film, but no rehearsals?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how we do it in Croatia.
That's how we do it in Croatia.
It's guerrilla.
You guys should be wearing the T-shirt. That's how we do it in Croatia.
Yeah.
No rehearsals. Yeah. That's funny. Is that just because, again, of budget? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
And we were on the locations,
Yep.
because when you film in Zagreb, everything you can do everything you want. But when you film on locations, and we were filming on in Dalmatia, so everything is expensive
okay.
there. So you have to
Squeeze it.
you have to place.
Is there a student sort of intern like part of the film industry in Croatia that you can draw from? Interns that are a little more reasonable, not as expensive to hire to bring on side, or does everybody want to be paid well to work on a film in Croatia? I mean, everybody wants to be paid well
yeah,
to work on a
yeah,
film, but a
but-
lot of people are looking for
yeah,
opportunities,
but
right?
That was really great team that worked
You must have
with
had a great
yeah, and everybody tried to give as much as possible. So I think something happened on that shooting. We all were very connected, and there was like some, I don't know, magic.
Yeah.
And we were working like 150%. So everything just found some way. I don't know, but I
So
suppose
everything really
it's
connected. It must have really connected. It must have really, I would say, gelled.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
And worked well to create in 5 days to create such a wonderful film. Is the film for you guys? I mean, is it really? Is this a film about family? Is this a film about peace? Is this an anti-war film? You know, I mean, is this about violence? I mean, there's so many things, right, in 20 minutes, which is so wonderful that we could be talking about.
I think definitely anti-war film. And well, of course, it's about family, but the context is, I mean, it's so many things that that are intruding. I don't know. You try.
Okay, so I don't. It's I wrote the story as and the script later as a story about how two worlds collide, about the collision between the childhood world and which is like should be full of innocence and should be unspoiled, and then in this impact with the grown-up world, which is like the world of war and the adults and traumas and some inexplicable traumas, and in that gap I wanted to see what happens, and you know how traumas become distorted and even more diabolic when seen from Frog's perspective, from the the child's perspective. But in the process, and as we worked together on the script and refined it a bit, some other topics jumped up in the first plan, and so I see so many layers in it. It is a story about coming of age.
Layered.
Yes. And
it is a coming of age
story,
is.
Definitely. Then what
Mia's character and how she she puts up her dukes, as it were, against the boys. Yeah. They're dancing, they're practicing, they're rehearsing for their dad to come home, I suppose, right? They were planning on doing this dance. It's heartbreaking, actually.
It's heartbreaking.
It really is. But the way Mia fights back, I mean, if that's not about coming of age in some way, it's really, really, and she's so remarkable. She's so talented. And here too at the festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the big topic which came up during the filming it is was something that was only hinted in the story, but now it's the ending about how to overcome trauma, what happens to the marriage when someone has such a tremendous experience which the other person doesn't share. And it can be I think about it on so many levels. You can think about this how the marriage dissolves from little everyday problems to this big and acute breakups. I don't know how to live after that. How to organize your everyday world after trauma within the family, and how to live.
Well, how do you recover? How do you actually
you
recover?
Don't.
Yeah,
I guess
you do. Yeah, in some way I suppose you don't really, do you? You go on you build something new, I suppose.
Yeah, we somehow have these coping strategies which are adjusted to our own character. And talking specifically about the war in Croatia, I think that the state hasn't done enough to help people develop these coping strategies, and that's why we had so many suicides of veterans after the war, and especially of people who went through the camps and who were tortured and tried to integrate in the normal life and didn't succeed in that. And it's such a sad story. My father, his coping mechanism was just the denial, or just being quiet, deciding not to talk about it and trying not to think about it and do something else. And so he is successful at that. But that's why this film, I feel guilty in a way, because I'm revisiting the painful side again of the family.
Well, in a sense, I wondered, did that come through in the character of the father? I mean, he's silent. Does he say anything in the? He doesn't say anything, does he? No, I thought at one point, right at the end, it's quite beautiful because I thought he was going to actually finally say something,
and he doesn't.
And I wasn't really. I don't think I was really looking for anything, profound. Just some kind of human contact, or put out his hand or something,
Yeah, but we had it.
You did, eh? Yeah.
Yes, he did that too.
He did that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that in the film? I don't.
No, I didn't take it.
Oh, you cut it out.
And he
Oh.
said at the end.
So I'm getting the sense you're the darker one of the two here.
Yeah. Well, I tried to objectivize his character as much as I could, because I think it's not because I'm a feminist, but because I think that the war does it to all men. So I tried to put him. I wanted him to be there, and I didn't want it, us to see him all the time. I just wanted to be like, to show like sometimes in a glance, to be like a shadow or something.
Well, you can certainly tell,
he's
and,
not.
and again, which is so remarkable and a testament to your writing and your directing and the acting and everything, how it all seemed to come together, how much you communicated in such a short period of time, because you know it's not just a visual thing. This guy communicates through his eyes and his body language.
Yeah, it was
He's
really hard
had
for
an
him.
incredibly traumatic experience, right? And even Mia, when she's saying on the playground, better to be dead than actually to be, right, a prisoner of war, because they rape you with bars, they beat you up, they torture you, they do all these horrific things.
Well, she was right.
Yes, right.
But that's something like that older people would never say.
Right.
So she just said it because I that's why I gave her.
Well, and there's something really beautiful and humbling about it coming from a child, right?
Yeah.
We're the ones that should be talking about it.
Yeah.
And here's this.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another thing that I find that I started thinking about just yesterday. There is a journalist in Croatia, in fact, who asked me about that, how in patriarchal society, which Croatian society still is, how it is still probably the greatest taboo. The losing of the dignity of a man. What happens to the men prisoners of war is the topic that we will never open and honestly try to solve and talk about. Milena Zarovic.
Well,
and then
she's right.
and then I was thinking about how we are slowly trying to open the topic, open conversation about raping of women in the camps, which is a tremendous collective tragedy, and we are dealing with it because we are used to women being victims. That's something we can, in a way we can approach that,
Right,
but
right.
we can't approach what happened to male prisoners in war.
And is that changing at all?
No.
No.
Not really.
No,
Not
for
even
20 years.
Not even academically.
No.
No, and I think it won't, because there's no one is willing to talk about it, and it's what we said about coping strategies. This is definitely the one that we decide to be quiet about.
So I do a fair bit of work, and it comes up almost in every podcast. Sorry about this, guys, but I do a lot of work in Cambodia, and I'm actually working on a small film about post-traumatic stress disorder and mental health issues in former Khmer Rouge soldiers back in the 70s, about my age, actually now. A lot of them, because these guys were 13 and 14 and 15 back in the 70s when they were fighting. And I met with the University of Phnom Penh and the head psychologist there, who's just published, 40 years later, just published on post-traumatic stress disorder and what's going on in the country. And he and she said, both of them said together, that there's a generation of silence.
Yeah.
In between, where nobody talks about it, and then once that's moved on, then people can start to talk about these things like PTSD and mental health issues and what does it really mean to lose one's dignity. So maybe people can talk about granddad, not their father, right? So I don't know. I mean, you know what, Kristina, I found your film really hopeful. I don't know if that's what your intention was, seeing as you're the cynic here. You're the darker one of the two. I think your last shot is so unbelievably hopeful to me. I think they're going to be okay. That's the sense I have. I mean, maybe, and again, I interviewed somebody recently about a pretty dark film just a couple days ago, and I said, oh, my listeners are going right now, oh, that crazy idealist, but I really, I want to believe in change. I want to believe that we can, move the conversation and actually change the world. I really want to believe in that, but maybe you don't. Maybe.
Well, maybe women should do something about it, because I think we are silence.
In Croatia, you mean, or just in general, globally?
General.
Globally?
Yeah. Why we are not
Need to speak up more?
Yeah.
Is that?
Why not? I mean, I think we have something to say, because what's going on is not normal. So maybe we should try to do something.
I think there's all kinds of work that's being done on things like extreme poverty, and if you want to actually move the needle, then get women involved. And there's all kinds of research on. Well, there's not just research; it's happening. It's truly, I don't know if you've heard of the Because I'm a Girl campaign, for instance, with Plan Canada or Plan International, but it's all about empowering young women and so when women are involved, salaries go up, education gets better. I mean, it's shown to be the case. So I wonder, so what is it about being a man that, I don't want to talk about it? I mean, I'm not like that, but I guess a lot of men are. But is that the only problem in Croatia?
No.
That it's a loss of dignity, that I don't want to talk about it? Is there something else going on? Is there a culture of violence there that's, you said yourself that the Balkans is complicated.
Yeah.
I would say what little I know is pretty complex.
It's complex, and I don't know if it wasn't complex, it would be strange, because we all remember war. As we said, it was like yesterday. I remember how we played, what my childhood games were, like building shelters to hide from the bombs, things like that. We it was normal.
It was just
the
way it was.
We didn't know about anything else, and now we realize now it's totally, it's obvious it's not normal. So but we've become equipped and somehow cynical. You get this shield.
Sure.
You are invincible, because all that happens later, all these challenges in life, you go just slide through it, because everything is okay. It's not war, if you understand. I don't know. So, but we have a catalog of open problems in Croatia, but the main
catalog
one,
of open problems is a great quote. But you know what? Every country does, right?
Yes,
every
of course.
culture does, but some seem to have
Croatia
more difficult ones than others.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that so many things would change if our financial situation, economical situation was a little bit better, because it affects everything. And our example shows how, like how we had to squeeze everything into these 5 days of shooting. So if we had just a little bit more money, or if we had just a little bit more money to educate young filmmakers, and to open more possibilities. Our unemployment rate is terribly high. We've just become a part of European Union, but remain somehow on the margins of it economically. So it's like, we're stuck somewhere between the past, between the war, and between what's yet to come, this new democracy, which is like full of promises, but so many people are disappointed.
Still too early to tell.
Yes.
Are the two of you? I'm going to ask that question in a second. How will Croatians respond to the film?
I think Croatian society is as every elections show, and tomorrow we have elections.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Wow!
And we don't have a government for a year now.
Did you guys vote before you left?
No, so I won't be able to vote, but I'm not even sad about it, or it's just because there's no one I would give my vote to. There's not an option that I want to support. And each election has shown in the past like 10 or 15 years that the society is sharply divided on two halves, almost 50-50. So one half is the one which is immersed in the war and like dealing with all these problems of the past, and the other part wants to move forward, but is disappointed in this new democracy. And we fought the war for independence was the war against totalitarianism, but still, this totalitarianistic regime was still more humane than what we have today.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a big paradox, and
The
people
change is incremental or small
Yeah.
steps. So you don't, Kristina, I'm interested. You don't think the end of your film is hopeful? You don't see that last image as hopeful?
Well, I think it's
I want to squeeze a little hope out of you.
it's a beginning of a new film, maybe feature.
Ah.
Yeah, but I think when the two of them are sitting there, that she's like, okay, what we're gonna do now? I'm
Yep.
going to be a man in this
Make
house.
amends, yes, yeah.
I have.
Oh,
to
I
do-
see. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take
Yeah.
control, sort of thing. Yeah.
I'm going to be the other half of the man.
Right.
I'm gonna
right.
take your humanity.
Well, and I wonder, to the title, even if the man's still there, right?
Yeah.
The man is still there.
Yeah.
It's just how do we
Yeah,
how
I
do we
think
reveal
he's-
that? How do we peel back those
Yeah.
layers, right? So
Yeah.
let's not,
He's kind of embarrassed.
right. And broken to
Yeah.
some degree.
Yeah. Well, he's aware that she's stronger than he is.
See, what gives me a little bit of hope, whether we can agree on the film or not, and it's your film, is that you guys have made it. I mean, this is a step in the right direction. Maybe you don't have political leaders that you're going to put your support behind, but here are two women filmmakers making a huge statement about, I don't know, that kind of stuff gives me, shivers up my spine.
When you said it, it sounds like something is possible, but
Something
I
is
don't think we're in Croatia. I mean, it's been 20 years that the state is like...
Somebody told me this morning, Adrian Sataru, a Romanian filmmaker, he said that for every year of abuse of a child, or anyone for that matter, you need 8 years of therapy to recover. I don't know if that's true,
Yes.
but if that's true, it's a pretty interesting statistic. And
So we need like
8 years
28 years of therapy or something.
of conversation, of dialogue, of therapy, of love, right? Of inclusivity and so on. I mean, it's these things aren't easy, and I know your film certainly doesn't throw them out there in that way at all. But what I love about it is it really is a beautiful and tragic story, and gorgeous to look at. It really is as well. So again, congratulations on your world premiere. Thanks for chatting with me today. I really appreciate your generosity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And tonight is the premiere, yes?
Yes, tonight.
Tonight, September the 10th, it's going to play throughout the festival here in Toronto. 2016, the world premiere of Half a Man. Here we go. We're going to try your last names again. Kristina Kumrić.
Yes.
Great.
Kumrić? Yes?
Great.
Great. Excellent. And Maja Hrgović.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So anyway, thank you so much for the film and for your time today.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.